bad movies, bad life advice, and even worse life decisions. We cover it all here on the Life with Kenny podcast. I'm your host, Kenny. Grab a beer, sit back, and relax for this week's episode, because things are about to get weird.
What's an all-American girl like you doing with a geek like this?
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw.
Jimmy was off the hook. I know you really don't listen to Slipknot.
Does your Rhino?
You are listening to a Life with Kenny podcast.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of the Life with Kenny podcast. Today we are doing a returning episode of Life Legends in the wise words of Stained Patrick.
Sorry, I just found some, that stuff that accumulates in the corner of your eye that you're usually supposed to get every morning. Yeah, just like that eye gloop. I just had a big old chunk of it come out, sorry. But it's been a while.
It's been a while. I am joined this week again by my regular co-hosts, Kyle and Patrick. Thanks for being here, boys. We are trying to figure out a proper format for the Life Legends episode, and I think we've kind of nailed it from what we've been discussing. So today, maybe you guys just give like a rough idea of the topics you're going to be covering, and then I'll finish it off here. So Kyle, what do you think you want to be talking about today?
Documentary called Boy Band Con.
Okay, so the one that we mentioned on earlier, an episode of Movie Night.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys about it. And another one, I watched a documentary and the movie that's based on it last night. I'll just tell you guys more about that later. It was Johnny Knoxville's movie. I think it's his newest one he put out.
Action Point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that one was interesting too. I'm actually excited to talk about that because after watching that movie, I did some research on that as well. So you want to talk about like the theme park and stuff, I'm assuming? Yeah. Okay. Have you seen Action Point at all, Patrick?
I have not.
Okay. And what about you, buddy? What do you got to bring to the table today?
I have a thing called the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
Perfect.
Which is...
I'm a big fan.
It's a pretty greasy topic, which I think Kyle will be very interested by.
Have you heard anything about that, Kyle?
I don't even know what the fuck he said.
It's essentially that, like, similar to that island thing that you were talking about.
Right on.
Except it's nothing like that, and it's interesting.
All right. Fuck me, right?
Yeah, so we'll be covering those, and I'm going to end it off with a game that I've been preparing for a little while. It's going to be, can you guess that Gimmick band and whether they're real or not? It's a working title.
Yeah,
it's going to be,
off the tongue.
The next couple of games I have planned are basically just guess if it's a real or not thing, and then we'll go from there. So later we'll be talking about different gimmick bands. Some famous gimmick bands that everybody knows are, for example, Kiss. You know the band Kiss that does...
Is that a gimmick band? I thought they were just a band.
Face painting, and they have characters, and it's a big gimmick. There's also the band Gwar, if you listen to metal or thrash or punk. Another gimmick band that's pretty famous.
I don't think I'm going to be very good at this game.
Well, that's why it's going to be pretty fun. But yeah. So today, I don't know, who wants to start? Like, who thinks they have a longer discussion here?
Mine's relatively short and sweet because it is just so fucking weird.
Right. I think we should maybe end it with the game because I feel like that's something that we could either take time with or rip through.
Let's get Kyle to go first before he
tell
falls
one
asleep.
of mine. Well, yeah, I'm fucking tired today.
We're all going to be tired
keeps pushing
today.
The mic close to my face.
Well, because
I'm a quiet talker.
I have everybody's mics maxed out except for mine. Mine's about halfway, and it's because everybody's sitting about 2.5 feet away from their microphone.
Because you fucking eat yours as if it's a penis.
You don't have to suck on the screen there, man.
No, Jesus, but if you're maxed out on the mixer, it's hard to control.
All right, so
it's my DJ name maxed out on the mixer. Okay, Kyle.
All right, so you guys, Patrick, did you listen to boy bands when you were younger? Like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
Depends. Was I a prepubescent girl at one point?
Or prepubescent boy?
No, I very rarely listened to boy band stuff. Although I did listen to Busted for a while.
I was going to say England is famous for boy bands
because I realised everyone else liked them. For whatever reason, I was very pretentious as like an 11-year-old, and I thought, nah, Busted is shit now.
But like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, like it's fair to say you know a lot of their songs.
I don't think I know many of their songs, but I know who they are.
What would be some big UK British boy bands? Because I know like Westlife was a big one.
Blue.
They
had some jams, to be fair.
What was that? All Rise was one of their songs. Yeah, I was really big into the boy bands when I was younger. I never did the Patrick thing where everybody was into it and I checked out.
Yeah.
I basically just like loved boy bands until I discovered punk rock.
No, yeah, I went from Busted I got a Busted CD for one birthday. And then the next birthday, or it was that same year at Christmas, I got a Nickelback CD.
Perfect.
And then it was all
good transition.
It was all downhill from
boy
there.
Band to boy band. I would say Busted is probably, if people aren't familiar with them, they're probably one of the better boy bands to like because they all played their own instruments and they wrote their own music.
They were all incredibly talented.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Simpson still does a bunch of solo stuff, and it's incredible.
Yeah, like for me, it's similar to just like a normal pop punk band nowadays because they wrote their own music, they played their own instruments, and they had some talent. So, yeah, Busted. I don't know if I'd consider them as much of a boy band as like say Backstreet Boys with Synchronized.
I can't think of what songs they play.
Busted did the Year 3000.
So originally,
originally, and then Jonas Brothers covered that.
That's
one.
what I go to school for.
Yeah, they had a lot of. They were basically the UK Simple Plan. If you were to just like do a comparison.
But like, you see, I think they were a boy band because they were actually a band.
Right.
And they were boys.
Right. Just like Nickelback.
But then, like, what do you call the bunch of fucking salads?
They were formed in 2000.
Right. So I think the term boy band, most people would use it in the context of guys that just stand there, sing, and dance, choreographed.
Yeah, but why?
Because if you're playing,
band, is it?
But if you're playing instruments, then it's a band. So I think that's the whole idea. Is if it's a boy band, it's just a group of boys that are singing together.
Well, no, because they're not playing their own instruments. So Busted is a boy band, but NSYNC would just be boy. Just a boy.
A group.
Well, no, because it's like it's boy band, but times by 0.5.
Right.
Because you've only got half of the thing. So you are just essentially left with either boy or band.
Right.
And they're not a band, but they are boys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how the breakdown goes, but I would say in most people's opinion, that's how the breakdown falls out is...
Well, I will have to opt with the popular opinion that
Smash
most
Mouth?
people are wrong.
Boy band?
Yeah.
Most people would say no because they play instruments.
Yeah, but so do Busted.
Right, that's why I'm saying I would argue Busted technically isn't a boy band.
I think
today,
Busted. Okay, so Busted was started in 2000. I just looked it up, and Backstreet Boys was 1993. So,
whoa,
boy band
that old, really?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They were quite old. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
most boy bands. I think because Jonas Brothers is technically a boy band too, but
they started in like 1984, right?
Jonas Brothers.
and NSYNC started in 95. So boy band was already a thing before Busted became a band. So they're probably not. They probably wouldn't consider themselves a boy band, just a band.
I would say the general idea would be
like
if
a
it's
pop band.
something that's put together by an entity, not usually organically. So like One Direction was just people being like, "Okay, we're just grabbing these people that are talented musicians and throwing them together to make money," rather than
Yeah, I suppose.
like if we were to start a band, it wouldn't technically be a boy band because we started it and we went there, right? Where I feel like if there's like an outer like corporation that gets involved, it's kind of a different vibe to it because
I get what you're saying. I just think it's a bit of an abuse of the
It's
English
kind
term.
It's kind of a weird title too, though, because like you're right. They're technically not a band because they don't play the instruments.
Yeah, man. They dance. Boy dance group.
That's
would
that's
be
there you go.
applicable.
Like acapella.
Well, no, because they've got the.
Well, they do have all their background music and shit, but yeah, most of it is done by performance with their voices and
Yeah,
their
there was
dancing,
like
right?
basically a cappella over top of a musical track.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so let's dive into this a little bit then, Kyle. So
Right.
your documentary is based on the guy who's basically created what we all know as boy bands, I guess.
Did you look into it at
I
all?
was going to try and watch it, but I do think it is exclusive to YouTube.
Yeah. So
What was the guy's name again? I just got to get his picture up.
Lou Pearlman.
Mr. Gammon or whatever.
Yeah, Gammon Perlman.
So this guy. So the documentary starts out explaining how he became to be the creator of boy bands, where New Kids on the Block. I'm just gonna look what year they started.
Oh, they would have been in the 80s.
Yeah.
84, 85, I want to say. It was before my time. It was around the time Jonas Brothers started.
New Kids on the Block. It says got their success in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, so that would have been...
Looks like most of their songs are 88. So New Kids on the Block. This Lou Pearlman at this point owns a private plane company that he started, and he's flying around New Kids on the Block, and he has this thought like, how the fuck do these young kids have this much money to take private planes from A to B?
What's his involvement with these guys? He's just a pilot?
He owns a company, a private plane company, and he happens to be on the plane for this when the New Kids on the Block are on there, and he's like, how the fuck do these young kids have this much money? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
So even if you have a private plane company that you own, you still have to take the plane with other people.
No, I think
so. Like, he goes to the airport one day, he's still at risk of sitting next to a woman with a baby.
Probably.
Yeah. So his private plane company is I'm pretty sure. I guess they didn't really say it in the documentary. They just talked about how he had a run-in with the manager of New Kids when he was
probably working out the rental fees or something like that.
And he was like, "How does this work?" And the manager was like, "It's New Kids on the Block. Like, they're huge." Like, and then told him some of the figures that they're making a year. And this Lou Pearlman guy, he's like a self entrepreneur, investor.
AKA criminal.
Yeah, he ends up being, and he's like, wow, like, I can make fucking a band like that. I could put guys together like that. I have lots of contacts, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of
preteens.
So he goes on to start making this company where he wants to put a band together. So he starts taking in applications. He puts out ads in the newspapers. He's collecting kids from like Mickey Mouse Club, and
that sounds awfully
which would probably be like pretty much the original, I guess, like pop show.
Yeah, like Britney Spears, I'm pretty sure got her start on there. Justin Timberlake
had like
was
Star
found
Search
from
and
there.
stuff. But yeah, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling was on there apparently.
Yeah,
and then him and Justin Timberlake were.
It was
together for a
I
while.
think it was just a show for young actors or singers.
Yeah, I think it's America's Got Talent put on by Disney.
Yeah.
What's the Eurovision? Is that the big one in Europe?
No, that's so the Eurovision Song Contest is basically every country in the European Union has to like select an artist to go up, but it can't be, as far as I'm aware, it can't be an artist that's like big and signed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get like a bunch of these countries just giving like full-on B-list bands, like the band that would probably support the bands that we were in as teenagers.
Right.
The local show at the Greasy Bar. Like, and some of them are fucking nuts. And some of them are terrible. And England hasn't won it, I think, well, I mean, we won't be in it again anymore, but I don't think we ever won it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's normally the winner? Is it Germany?
No, I think it's usually like well, see, the thing is, no one really wants to win it, because if you win it, you host it. So every country, I think you might actually be able to
Wouldn't
get
you
like a
wanna
really
host it, though?
big famous band.
Wouldn't it be like hosting the Olympics then? Like where you just have like a big thing of people traveling everywhere?
This isn't something that people go out to watch. I feel like a lot of the people in the stadium are probably just like crew members on break.
Really? Because from what I've heard, it's a huge thing in Europe.
It probably is in Europe, yeah. But like, I mean, you really wouldn't get many people. Which, like we said with Europe, it's landlocked with a bunch of other countries.
Right, you could hop on a plane and be there in 2 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to get there. So if it was something you wanted to go to, it was probably like just nipping down to the pub and singing fucking James play Wonderwall for the 105th time.
Right, except instead of seeing him at the pub, you have to go to Latvia to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, but we have like Britain's Got Talent and stuff like that, and the X Factor.
Which you say birds have talent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, right on.
No, but I just know Eurovision's a really big one. That's kind of
Yeah, it
all
is.
over.
It's usually fun to watch. It's basically what everyone in England watches while they get absolutely twatted.
right. So Eurovision is basically the modern day Colosseum, except instead of weapons, they just use shitty bands and they.
Yeah, I really feel like that would make a lot of money though, if they sent the bands in there and told them they were going to have to sing, but then they just started handing out these medieval weapons.
Yeah, they just give them a morning star.
All of the artists are sat there like, why do we have these? And they just fight.
In Norway, just sent out their new latest black metal band against some like
They're all
Latvian
just sat there in this massive atrium, all sat there with weapons. Like, we're not actually going to fight, are we? No.
You just went to fucking Vietnam right there. I saw that look on your face. Holy shit.
Just the one guy in like sharpening the spear. Where did you get that? Bought it from home.
But yeah, so imagine Lou Pearlman, this guy, going there and just picking up those B-list acts and like people from each of those acts, plopping them out and being like, this guy's a good singer from here, this one's from here, and then just throwing them in a band to see how it works, right?
So the documentary had a couple of the Backstreet Boys actually on there telling the story, and a couple guys from NSYNC and other pop bands. So the guys from Backstreet Boys, a couple of them were on there, and they were basically saying like, you know, there was, I think there are five of them. So they were all brought into this like casting room, and they were told this is going to be
with a leather couch.
Yeah, basically. And they're told
every single one of them sat there like, I don't think we should be here.
Yeah. So and then they're brought into this room and they're told like basically these are going to be your other bandmates, and then they all started becoming friends and whatever and talking, and they make them into a band. They had them practicing like 16 hours a day, dancing, singing, making songs.
Fucking Christ. If I had to hang out with you two 16 hours a day, I would shoot both of you before I shot myself.
So these are young kids that have been.
If you were living your dream to do it, like if you were getting paid to play guitar, it wouldn't be much different than touring.
I'm sorry to say, but you two are not in my dreams.
You gotta think though too. Would it be worth it if you were living in a mansion with me and Kenny and a couple other people
Can I opt to be on the other side of the mansion?
Yeah, if you want to, man.
Then yeah, I'm game.
I love you too, bro.
So the
Vietnam look again washes over your face.
So you got these 5 kids.
Oh shit.
You got these 5 kids living in this mansion.
You're just like
no parents, just this Lou Pearlman guy walking around with, I mean, their publicists and whatever.
There's a pedophile somewhere listening, getting very excited.
Yeah.
Trying to track down where this mansion is.
Lou Pearlman.
5 kids, no parents.
Yeah.
And then you have a member of the Backstreet Boys just going into Vietnam mode, being like, I remember the smell of that leather couch.
Like, fucking Lou Pearlman just looks like you could probably match his face with at least 7 different people on the sex offenders
Yeah, if
register.
you put him in a line with like a bunch of pedophiles.
There's lots of talk about him being a pedophile, but never actually acting on it.
Wait, what?
Like,
can you explain?
He was kind of creepy towards a lot of the boys. He made sure that all of them were in very good shape, and he would always suggest they take their shirts off for photo shoots and things like that.
Right, but also to an extent, wouldn't that just be like a business guy being like, "Hey, sex sells. We're selling this to a bunch of like sweaty 14-year-old girls."
Yeah, that's so true nowadays. It's weird.
So that's why there was never really anything.
Like,
it's just lots of the So it's kind of divided. Some people say I felt uneasy by him. Some of these boys said that, and some of the other ones were just like he was just trying to like make us big, and he never put off.
I'm gonna make you big.
Wrong choice of words there, I guess.
Oh fuck! He didn't even realize what he'd said until I started laughing.
But yeah, so besides that, this guy's making these kids big.
Yeah,
right?
of course he is. Yeah.
And so the Backstreet Boys hit it big. Like they become a world known band, right?
Yep.
They got 2 years under their belt of selling shit out, making a bunch of money that they have not seen yet, and they're not even thinking about it yet because they're getting to live their dream and getting everything paid for and living in a mansion and not having to worry about fucking money one bit.
Also, let me interject here just so everybody knows. Backstreet is back, baby. They just released a new song like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We'll have to check it out later, but I don't know. It's like it's actually charting on the Billboard right now. Like it's actually in like the top 40 right now. Like they're back, which is pretty crazy because they've been gone for probably about, well, they tried coming back once before, but they've been gone for like 10 years, I think.
Yeah, they've released a new album.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. I think well, I don't think NSYNC will because Justin Timberlake's just eclipsed all of them, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit brutal.
Well, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure NSYNC joined Beyonce on stage.
No, it was Ariana Grande. They joined Ariana Grande on stage at Coachella.
Oh, right.
But it was without Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
He was the only one that didn't show up for
and
it.
they talked about it, and they said they invited him, but he never replied.
Yeah. So shout out to Joey Fatone.
Yeah.
Keep it going, buddy.
So anyways,
your dream
Backstreet Boys are living their dream. 2 years of selling shit out. Fucking people are going nuts for them. And then they start questioning money. And where the fuck, like, why haven't we gotten even a check yet? And
wait, not a single check? Like they're just showing up and just getting food comped and that's pretty much it then?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And so
you're basically just getting living expenses at that point. High living expenses, but you don't have a paycheck.
Well, I guess
but
they were kids as well,
yeah,
right?
And they never thought
They're
thought
probably
about it. They
18,
never had
19.
to, right?
No, they can't have been that old.
No.
I know some of them were like
That's
NSYNC,
probably
Justin
the
Timberlake.
fucking loophole, because like if you employ someone in England, the minimum wage for people doesn't even kick in until they're like 16.
they had contracts. They were going to be getting paid.
Oh, okay.
I know, like with NSYNC especially, most of the guys were over 18. Justin Timberlake, I believe, was the youngest in the band, and I think he was like 16 or 17 when they started. But yeah, most of them.
Yeah.
Actually, they even had a guy that was like 23, like way older than all of them,
Jeez.
because he's the only one with a deep voice that would
Luke
do the lower parts in like their music, right? So you needed somebody who was like way past puberty that could hit the proper notes. So yeah, the age range was like pretty vast in that case.
So with NSYNC at this point is when behind Backstreet Boys' back, Lou Pearlman starts making NSYNC, and he's got these guys doing the same thing, practicing 16 hours a day, getting ready to play shows, but he's doing it at a private plane hangar, from what I understand, that he owns.
So he's basically creating competition for himself.
Exactly, yeah. And
that's an interesting idea.
Backstreet Boys. So NSYNC, I'm not sure.
In that case, it doesn't matter who wins, right?
Right, yeah. But it also creates like a fake competition essentially. Yeah. Although there is a real competition though. So
at this point, I'm pretty sure NSYNC has already like got their set down packed and like ready to just go on stage whenever, and are asking like when we're going on. Backstreet Boys start questioning money, and they get offered to play a big show. I want to say it's like, I don't think it was MTV, but it was like something like that, like a big concert thing.
And had they done like MTV and stuff already at this point?
Yeah, I don't know MTV, but they've done like sold out stadiums and shit.
Right.
And they turn it down. They say, no, we're gonna pass on this one. And Lou Pearlman goes, all right, NSYNC, you guys are up.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing this.
Yeah.
I remember this.
NSYNC comes out. All of a sudden, the Backstreet Boys like, who the fuck is this NSYNC band? And yeah, he's like, yeah, that's our other band. Your guys' competition. It's kind of, you guys are getting a little older now. These guys are coming in. And all of a sudden, all his focus goes on to NSYNC.
If you, Kyle, because I know you, you might be somewhat familiar with this. If you're interested in this subject, Joey Fatone from NSYNC goes a little bit into this on the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast. He's on an episode in the past like 3 months, I think, and he actually tells them a lot of this stuff. That's why this sounds so familiar to me.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting hearing NSYNC's perspective, because what he said was essentially Backstreet Boys for some reason just couldn't make it. Not that they turned it down. So it's like interesting to see those two perspectives.
It was so what they had said, and it was one of the Backstreet Boys that had said this on this documentary, and he said it wasn't that they necessarily just turned it down. It was they were on tour for the past 2 years nonstop. Right. And they were like, "This is a big show. It's gonna take away from other shows that we have booked. We're gonna have to cancel some other shit. It's just too much at one time." And so they backed out of it, to say like we could postpone it or something.
Right.
And then NSYNC jumped in. And so now you got these two bands, a younger band and a band that's been around for 2 years, that's a little bit older now, are basically battling against each other for the big shows. And NSYNC come out and just fucking blow people away because they've been practicing together for, who knows, maybe a year, and are like a fucking super band compared to Backstreet Boys. You know what I mean? And also they're so excited and hungry to get more, whereas Backstreet Boys have been doing this for 2 years now, and they're probably starting to fight with each other.
They also probably don't have like the battered housewife fatigue of like just doing everything for nothing too. Yeah. So that's probably got like a new aspect to the vibe.
It's getting bad. So then all of a sudden, you have like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are becoming enemies, and then they're kind of meeting each other in places and talking about, Lou and how they haven't gotten money and stuff like that. And I haven't watched this for a couple weeks, so I'm having a hard time remembering if it was Backstreet Boys or NSYNC.
Right.
But one of the bands, they had a supper set up with Lou Pearlman to get their first checks. And so they're like, shit, like we're gonna all be rich. The parents are even like doing the calculations, like I'm pretty sure it was Backstreet Boys, because they're like, that's like 2 years
worth of
2 years,
paychecks.
3 years of touring, selling out stadiums. They're like, they know the money that these bands are making, so they're thinking, okay, 5 guys, say it's like $30 million, and you're gonna split that 5 ways, minus a little bit of money for paying for things. They're like, fuck, man, each of these kids is at least gonna get $1 million. Like, that's what they're thinking. You know what I mean? And they go down, they're so excited. They're at this big fancy restaurant that they go to like fucking every weekend for big meals. And they open up their checks and it's like 10 grand each.
For 2 years of work.
Of fucking like 16-hour days working your ass off. They did the calculation of 10 grand. They weren't even making like half of minimum wage at that point.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, that is fucking devastating to see.
Jesus, man, what a cock.
And so then they start looking into, like, a lawsuit. Well, find out that Lou Pearlman has, like, fucking roped him in with this contract. He has himself written as a 6th member of these bands. So he's getting 1/6 of what they make.
So he just gave himself
he
just gave himself 10 grand.
And he was charging them rent for living in his mansion. He's having all of their meals that are fucking like $1,000 meals every single day coming out of their money.
And he's probably writing them off as tax expenses.
But he was making it look like he was just a good guy and paying for all this shit.
Yeah.
But it was actually all coming out of their pocket. So he was just fucking stealing money from these kids for years. And then they're trying to get out of this contract. It goes on for a little bit. And then other people start looking into this Lou Pearlman guy and trying to figure out like this guy's a fucking con artist. Has to be. At this point, he's getting questioned a whole bunch, and they're finding out a bunch of things. He's fucking booking flights to different places, which they're thinking he's dropping money places, hiding money, all this kind of shit. They find out, which was like, this was crazy to me. So how he got his start was with this plane company. Growing up, he had like one friend. He had like nobody liked him. He had no friends.
And it was a black leather couch.
and this guy, I can't remember his name now, so I'm just gonna call him John.
Why don't you call him something fun like Tito?
No, just John. So his buddy John is really into planes, and he has like an insane fascination with them. So Lou starts to like planes too. They bond over it. They make plane models together and whatever. They grow up and they think and they decide like, let's fucking start a company with planes. So
right.
Lou has this idea, like his buddy John wanted to do this forever. So Lou and John make this company. There was this jean company, like denim jean company in Hollywood. That
not Tommy Wiseau's
yeah.
jean company, is it?
No, probably not. That would be so funny.
I can't remember what it was.
A lot of denim.
It was this company that was just starting. You know,
was it Jenko?
I can't remember the
or
name
Jenko
of it.
jeans.
I think there was like a horse in the logo.
Anyways, keep going.
It's this big company, and it's like this guy's an artist, and he wants to make a big impression for his release. So he hires John and Lou to get a blimp to go over top of LA at a certain point with this blimp that they had gold plated, or like gold leaf plated with actual gold flakes. And it was like $40,000 worth of gold paint put on this blimp. And
so they do blimp rentals as well then?
This is what they started their company. This was like their big first thing.
These are Jenko jeans, by the way.
Yeah,
they were like huge in the 90s. Like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were famous for like advertising these things. So
Lou and John get this blimp, and they get it painted gold for this guy. $40,000 out of his pocket, this jean guy's pocket,
right? And
they charge. They have, I don't know. They didn't really talk about what they were going to charge him to do it, but they bought this blimp. They bought this blimp for $10,000. That was like how they were starting their company.
Right. So far it's been $50,000 put into this project.
$50,000 into this blimp, and the blimp goes up in the air, goes right down, fucking trashed, destroyed. And whatever. That's the end of the story for that. You go to find out that
wait, so they caused a blimp crash.
Yeah, basically
in Los Angeles apparently,
and then just moved on.
Well, this is the thing.
It's not fucking Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
you find out
they stole $40,000 from this guy.
Well, they had to pay him back, but you find out that Lou, after he bought this $10,000 blimp, took out $1 million insurance on it.
Oh.
And his buddy John, they have like a phone recording of him going like, was this your plan all along? And he freaks. He goes, you shut your fucking mouth and don't ever bring this up again. And basically that's the end of their friendship. Because he's like, his buddy is like, I really wanted to start a company. And
he just wanted the quick $1 million.
Yeah.
And then that was that of the company.
So
no, how does that work though? Because I tried to insure my car, right? And this is like the first car I ever had, and the car cost £300, right? So it was a piece of shit.
Right.
The insurance cost me £150 a month. I paid more than the value of the car within 2 months.
Right.
How has he got $1 million insurance on a 10 grand blimp?
you got to think he got the blimp
If
cheap.
I had a crash,
it's like life
I'd have
insurance.
had to pay out a ridiculous amount.
But it's like life insurance.
Blimps
Why
are
is one life worth more than the other?
Yeah. So
Because I'm better.
But
Man,
you also
blimps-
pay different premiums, right?
I would take that back. That felt disgusting to say.
So the way they talked about it in the documentary is blimps are worth a lot of fucking money, and they got a really, really, really good deal getting this blimp for 10 grand.
Not a cheap way to commute, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Unless
But
you're
also painting a blimp with gold flake probably made it weigh a lot more and probably fucked with the integrity
Yeah,
of it.
no doubt.
yeah, you should just ask the owners of the Hindenburg how that turned out for them.
Yeah. So
Fucking Led Zeppelin.
so at this point, basically Lou Pearlman has $1 million and his fucking plan worked. So then he actually starts this plane company.
Does he do it without John though?
Yes.
Like he completely cuts John out.
Yeah.
That's fucking shitty.
So now he starts this real plane company, and it's I can't for the life of me think of the name of it.
That's fine.
But it is like I've heard the name.
It's still a
lot.
plane company.
I think it still is.
Okay.
And so he starts this plane company, and he starts having like it's this big plane company in like Hollywood. He has people hiring him for private planes. He has tons of people investing. He's a really good, really con artist to get all these people to invest. And he has a lot of famous people passing his name off to other famous people to invest. And he starts making this big company. He starts getting a bunch of money. He starts fucking renting out real luxurious planes for private jets. And you go to find out that the way he started this was taking a model airplane that his friend John had built
Oh my god.
and painted his logo on it to make it look like it was his jet, and took a picture over a skyline on a Polaroid with the back end with his thumbs holding it out of the plane or out of the picture.
So he was just holding a model.
Yeah, and that's how he got all these rich people to invest, is by going to their offices and saying, I bought one plane, this is it, I'm trying to start a company, and people were investing in him.
Jesus.
Fuck's sake.
He didn't even own a fucking plane, and probably didn't for many years, because they went to find out that he was just renting jets, and fucking that's what he was using for private jets. It wasn't even his own planes for years, and he was fucking flying around all these people.
So the company was called Airship International, I believe, in Orlando, Florida. That's what it says anyways. But yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and so he didn't even have a plane. He fucking scammed a bunch of people that way. And then you go to find out that there was also tons of civilians and not famous people investing in this, getting money from like their parents passing away, leaving them inheritance, and they're being told by people, this is a really good company that's starting up, invest in it. And after that worked for so long, then he started this boy band thing, and he makes this into an investment. So he has a bunch of people investing in his bands that he's creating, and he's fucking stealing money from all these people. Finally, he gets caught, by like the Backstreet Boys and stuff are basically suing him, and the lawyers for the Backstreet Boys are thinking like they're all fucked. Like,
Right.
This guy has you guys wrapped around his finger with his contracts. They find one flaw
And what was the flaw?
in his contract, in all of his contracts for all of these bands. He had a guarantee that they would be signed by an American label within 3 years or something like that, and which they all were. They were all signed by a label. the issue was it wasn't an American label. It was a German label.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how they got out of their contracts and got to keep their names and got this guy fucked. He before he gets arrested from all of this, he takes a private jet and goes to like 8 different places in the world, in different islands and shit like that. They're thinking he's dropping all of his money. They go to he loses it. He loses the court battle, owes a whole bunch of money. All of a sudden, he has no fucking money. So
Jesus, he goes start digging up his front yard right away.
So he goes to jail and whatever, owes a bunch of money but has no fucking money. So claims bankruptcy basically. And yeah, then a couple years after being in jail, he dies of like a
I think you said like an aneurysm or
brain
something.
aneurysm or something. So no one really knows what happened to all his money. I read more conspiracy theories. There's a bunch of treasure hunters that like follow this guy's.
Not on that fucking.
Yeah,
island,
did he go to Oak Island?
Exactly. Like it's just like that.
He took a time travel machine back 1,500 years ago.
So there's people that think that he has millions of dollars buried on different islands and shit around the world, and nothing's really been found yet.
Okay, so Lou Pearlman, let's see here. He represented acts like the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, O-Town, LFO, Take 5, Natural, US5, Jordan Knight, who I think is from New Kids on the Block, Aaron Carter, so that's one thing that I was interested in seeing this, is because if the Backstreet Boys knew they were getting screwed over, why did one of the Backstreet Boys' younger brothers go and get represented by this guy as well? That was the one thing
it was before they found out they were getting fucked.
Really? Okay. Yeah. And there's also a thing here.
Aaron Carter was actually on the documentary talking.
I'll let you read this too, since this is your story. But there's a Wikipedia part on the molestation allegations that Lou Pearlman did.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to read that.
In a 2009 interview with Howard Stern, the former lead singer of band LFO, Rich Cronin,
sure,
said that he had only received a fraction of the money owed to him from record sales, and claimed that Pearlman had wanted to bang everyone and had attempted to seduce him multiple times. Cronin also alleged that those who did oblige to Pearlman were looked after. Cronin's hold on here.
Yeah, so essentially, other than that, it just says that they'd asked other people who were represented by him about it, and everybody basically
said no,
defended him and said that the guy from LFO, if he's making these allegations, it's probably just out of bitterness.
And that's like when they in the documentary, which was weird to me. Aaron Carter, which is Nick from Backstreet Boys' younger brother, when they asked him about the allegations, he became very defensive.
Which is like
angry.
Yeah, so with him, though, he has a huge history of substance abuse, definitely. And he's like just typical Hollywood kid syndrome. So it wouldn't surprise me if Lou Pearlman had even like just sold some free time with Aaron Carter to older businessmen or something like that. Like, we'll never know what other schemes this guy has with these young boys, right?
Yeah.
Especially with Hollywood. Like, there's so many rumors these days.
There was
I feel like it should be genuinely illegal.
Yeah.
For kids. I mean, if
even when you're 18, like, you should have 3 separate lawyers look over contracts for entertainment.
In the documentary, they talked about, so in this mansion, which at some point there was like a bunch of different bands living there. There was a girl band that he had signed that lived there, and they used, he had like tanning beds there for the boys and the girls. And they said they were always very scared to use them because they knew there was cameras in the room.
Right.
And they said at that point when they found out there was cameras in there, they have all already used them many times nude. And the only place, like the live feed for all these cameras for the whole premises, which there was 1 or 2 in every single room, all went to Lou Pearlman's computer in his bedroom. So it's, I mean,
have you guys seen that episode of South Park with the TSA, like the airport security people get, or like just the safety people or something? There's a woman that dies like on the toilet because she basically like sits on it without the toilet seat being down.
Did she get stuck or what?
Yeah, she gets stuck. So they have to have like seat belts on the toilet. But there's like security cameras then installed in everyone's bathroom, and you have to go through a security check before you can get to the toilet. But there's this one guy in this massive like security room, and you can just see like a big bottle of lotion, and he's just flicking through screens, just going.
That's fucked, man.
And then what does he find? Yeah, so Cartman pretends to like kill one of the like security agents, where he does actually kill them, and the guy sat there like, what the fuck? And then leans back in his chair, and you just hear.
Yeah, typical South Park humor. That actually
carries on.
That reminds me of that Nathan For You show I told you guys about with the dumb Starbucks. There was an episode where this woman's business was struggling, and it's in downtown New York or something, or LA, and he said, oh, like nowhere around here will let people use your restroom unless you're a customer. So what you should do is let yourself be like the neighborhood restroom. So people come to use your bathroom, but when they come in, you like give them a menu to read while they're on the toilet, so that when they come out and they're empty and they're hungry again, they'll want your food. And the woman's like, okay. And then he's like, and we're also going to put videos, like little TVs in the stalls that play your commercial on loop, but also have cameras so that we can watch their facial expressions while they watch it. And it's just like this one woman, she's just like pouring gravy onto mashed potatoes, and guys are watching this while they're pooping, and then they're just like licking their lips and stuff, and then they come out and they order food, and he's like, see, it's working, see that guy right there? And he shows them a video of the dude pooping on the toilet, and he's like, he just watched your commercial, and the dude just waves. It's fucking great.
That's incredible.
But yeah, so Lou Pearlman, man, I think we're gonna end this episode with a fuck Lou Pearlman, because I mean, I gotta give anybody props who can like screw the system, but also like if you're that much of a monster,
if you can screw the system without screwing everyone else, then fair enough.
You know what? I don't appreciate that, and I don't think he didn't screw the system. He just screwed a lot of people, like hardworking people. Like that documentary, it showed a lot of people that were just civilians that invested in this in Hollywood because they were, just trying to get somewhere and took every dollar that they had and struggled for years and never are ever going to get it back.
Right. Yeah, that's terrible, man. And what was that documentary called again?
Boy Band Con.
Boy Band Cons. And that's a YouTube exclusive, so if you want to watch that, you can find it on there. I'm definitely going to check it out. You have my attention, so I want to look more into this, because it sounds like an interesting conspiracy.
We just did a free month trial of YouTube Premium. And then...
You should watch the Cobra Kai show then, apparently. It's really good. It's based on Karate Kid as older people.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be good. But yeah, anyways. So next we have Patrick talking about the Dyatlov?
Yeah, Dyatlov or Dyatlov.
Dyatlov Pass.
Too much.
Where is that again? It's in Russia.
It's in Russia, yeah, like relatively far north, I think.
So, Kyle, you're not familiar with this story at all?
I still don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so
so my extent of it is I've heard this story several times, but it's been a while since I've actually like familiarized myself with it.
Don't say anything about it.
Right. So I'm excited to discuss this with you, because there's a lot of theories I've read on it that I find interesting and plausible.
Yeah, man.
And I'll leave it at that. So, Kyle, strap yourself in for one hell of a conspiracy, my dude.
How are we doing for time?
Oh, we got lots.
Yeah?
We got lots. Yeah. Right. 49 minutes.
Sorry, everyone. You're going to have to stay for a while.
Yeah.
Right. So, Dyatlov Pass. So, there were 10 hikers, right? I'm going to move my mic so I can make eye contact with Kyle.
These
like
hikers,
There we go.
are they all Jesus? Are they all Russian hikers as well, or
They are, yeah.
are they...
Sorry, I just kicked the table very hard by accident, and everything fell a little
He
bit.
punched it with his foot.
Yeah, my bad. So, what was your question? Sorry.
Are all these hikers from Russia?
They are all Russian, correct? Yes.
Okay.
There was 10 of them initially, and the reason why they were going to such a hostile environment is to get their level 3 hikers qualification.
Okay.
Because once they get that, apparently they can then teach hiking at a professional level.
Right.
So they were all really stoked about this, but some of the factors to do that, where you have to spend a minimum of 16 nights in a tent, it has to be in a completely uninhabitable area with relatively harsh weather or terrain conditions.
So it's essentially like getting a survival certificate as well.
So that's the only reason why they chose this, and why, because it seems mental without that information. For them to be doing this just seems fucking crazy.
It's like those people that free hike up the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Right? With just minimal water and stuff. It's just such a stupid thing.
But I mean, they all already apparently had level 2, so they knew what they were doing, and they were led by a guy called Igor,
who had his level 3.
I think he may have done, or he was on the same path, but he was the more qualified. He was slightly more experienced than everyone else, and he was a very confident leader.
Right.
All that sort of stuff. So they decided to follow him. So they took a train that took them 200 miles, and then a bus which took them another 100, and then they ended up on this frozen river, which they walked through to get to another small town or something. And they carried on up the river. But one of the guys said that he wasn't feeling well, and he'd been feeling rough for pretty much the whole journey.
So are we thinking alien parasite?
No. So he decides to turn back. So the groups, and this is it's 1959.
Right.
This all happened.
So now it's down to 9 hikers then?
It's 9 hikers, yeah. So their movements up until, I think, January 28th are all accounted for. Because we have that guy telling us where they went. So he makes it back perfectly fine. He ends up recovering from his illness.
So he just goes back by himself, allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, on a bus and shit, right?
Yeah, they're not far at this point from the town where they slept in the night before.
So he goes back, and people see him come back that day?
Yeah. Yeah, he's been spoken to about the incident.
Covered in blood.
No.
I know where this is going, I think.
From an alien parasite.
No, okay,
Yeah,
go on.
so he goes back, and he's out of the equation currently. That guy's name was Yuri. So he turned back. And before the guy, the leader, left, he said to a few people, there's probably going to be a lot of delays on the way back. So the return date that they're expected to come back comes around, and they haven't arrived yet. But everyone's no, it's fair enough.
There's delays.
In that kind of weather conditions, everyone was expecting it to take a little bit longer than usual because the weather had been particularly harsh, something along those lines. So then a few more days pass. People start getting a little bit worried. They're like, right, fucking, something could have gone wrong here. So they send out a search party to try and find them. And after about a day of walking, they find what looks like their campsite. And there's a couple of tents. One tent is looks a little bit damaged. There's a light dusting of snow on it. And they walk over, and they find that the tent's been ripped from the inside, which is very strange. Because it's like they ripped it from the inside, trying to get out.
Right. So either something got in there with them, and they were rushing to get out, or something happened that they were rushing to get out.
So they decide to set up camp where they did, just in case someone comes back. Because at this point, they're thinking this is quite good, because they haven't found any bodies. As far as they're aware, the people are still alive. They may just be lost somewhere. So they're like, okay, no, this is better than what we thought. That's fine. We'll set up camp, and then we'll carry on looking the next day.
So have you ever been camping?
Yes.
And got to the point where you have to piss so bad and the zipper gets stuck and you just can't get out of the tent? And you just think to yourself, should I just cut myself out of this tent?
Well, you see, that's where you gently open the mouth of the person you're in the tent with. And just make them feel like they're in a bar, put on some music.
Going camping with you, Patrick.
Just start whispering, chug, 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 chug. And, they're having a great time. As far as they're concerned, they're chugging a beer, but actually their mouth is covered in piss.
So we can rule out any piss antics then.
Yes,
there was
and also
no
camp in
urine
with me at any point.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
So the search continues the day after. They search around the camp a little bit more, and then just outside the camp, they find the body of, I think, 2 of the hikers.
Out of the 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're wearing nothing apart from underwear.
Which is a sign of hypothermia.
Yeah, because it makes you feel like your body is on fire. But their clothes weren't found in the tent.
So where are the clothes?
Exactly.
Okay.
So they find these 2 bodies and they think, fuck, right, this is bad. And they continue the search, and the search goes on for 2 months before they find the remaining hikers.
So at this point, is like the snow melting on this mountaintop at all, or is it just staying the exact same?
This is that part of, I think it must be somewhere like Siberia, where it's just
always
fucking winter.
Okay.
You know?
That makes it hard to do any kind of searching right?
Yeah. Because I think the weather at this point had cleared up, so they were quite thankful. There wasn't constant snow, I don't think, which meant that they were able to continue the search. So 2 months goes by, and they find the bodies of the rest of the hikers.
So 7 more bodies.
Yeah.
How far from the camp? Is that ever speculated or anything?
I can't remember. I don't think it was that far, though. I think it was just the snow that made it difficult to actually locate them.
So were they all relatively in a similar area, or did they spread out, or what's the situation with that?
There's not much info on that.
Right. You said it was 58, right?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, they were relatively split up. But this is where shit gets really fucking strange. So it looks as though like 5 or 6 of them have died of hypothermia, as you'd expect. But they find that some of the hikers are wearing the clothes of the previous dead people. 3 of them have also experienced massive trauma to the head or chest, which was labelled as virtually impossible to have been caused by a human. And one of them is missing a tongue and both of their eyes.
Interesting. So is there any animals native to this area that they're familiar with?
As far as they're aware.
Really?
Because it's so hostile, there's nothing there apart from mountainside and snow.
Right.
There's not like, it doesn't look as though there's a sustainable ecosystem. Like, you know, like the winter here is brutal, but you have a lot of like wooded areas where stuff could still survive in hibernation, you know. But around there it is literally just mountainside and snow.
So I'm just wondering the possibilities of, because like with eyes and tongues, you normally can like narrow it down to a type of bird sometimes, because that's like easy pickings for birds usually.
But why is it only one of them?
Right.
You know? And then the others have experienced this trauma to their head and chest.
So when they did the autopsy, did they find any tongues in anybody's stomachs or anything like that? There's nothing like that?
Well, it's 1959, right? So in terms of determining how people have died, it probably wasn't as advanced as it is now.
Right.
So there's
but for the tongue situation, you didn't find anything on it being like one of them maybe ate it for some reason?
It's essentially probably one of the weirdest aspects as to why the fuck that happened.
Right.
And it's more the fact that they all seem to have died of different stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fair to assume that most of them probably suffered from hypothermia.
Like
at that
we'd
point.
say at least 2, and then some of them had like chest trauma.
Yeah, but I can't remember if this is from the movie, because someone did like just a movie adaptation of someone looking into it essentially.
Right.
But they said that there was massive trauma to the chest, and like ribs were broken, but there was no bruising on the skin.
I wonder if there's a way
to...
Is
that something to do with like how cold it was that you wouldn't bruise?
It could be that it happened like post-mortem, so the blood was essentially frozen, I guess. It just wasn't flowing anymore. But yeah, it's the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because earlier this year they actually reopened the case.
Really?
Yeah.
So they suspect murder then, or
well, Russian authorities are looking into it more. But the interesting part about this is that it happened during the time that the Cold War was raging, essentially. Like, it was the midpoint of the Cold War. So, and one more very interesting fact is that all of the campers that were found 2 months afterwards, all of their clothes were covered in radiation.
Well, it's Russia.
Right? And it's
They're
the
doing
Cold
some
War. It's the
testing out there or
Soviet
something?
Union. So my theory, I guess, is that they may have stumbled across some sort of a bunker. And because of the Cold War being in place, they may well have all been tortured
Yeah,
because they thought they were spies, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. So have you read much on the theories about this then?
I know there's things like aliens, Yetis.
Yeah. So do you have much more to talk about here, or can I?
That's as much of the interesting stuff.
That is really interesting. It's crazy that, I mean, I know that was a long time ago, but that they didn't, like, there hasn't been any breakthroughs with it yet.
No, not really.
So I found a list of theories. I'm not going to go into any details with them or anything, because these are all theories that I've heard on other podcasts and stuff as well. One of the theories is that KGB agents controlled the environment in that time. So like, I can't think of like what KGB stands for, but they're like
it's like the Russian MI6 essentially.
Yeah. So there could have been something there where, I don't really want to read all these Russian names, but could have been something involving the KGB is one of the theories. Another one is that the hikers might have been mistaken for escaped prisoners from a gulag prison, which I don't know how that would explain a lot of the...
So is there people that live out there?
This is the next one, the Mansi natives.
Yeah, so they the mountain that they were near was technically unnamed, but they called it the Dead Mountain, I think was the native name for it, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, the Mansi people are proud, secluded people, and they consider these mountains their hunting grounds. If the Mansi told them that they should be there, and the hikers took it the wrong way, a verbal confrontation could easily escalate into a physical involvement, which is interesting. Rumors were circulating of a woman geologist who was tied and thrown into the lake in the 30s. The motive was desecration of the Mansi shrines, and we don't know if this is fiction and or exactly what happened, but there are no documents introduced to back up this story. So there's different things brought out to show that the Mansi people were around there. There's carvings and stuff. This is the one thing that I found interesting is it looks like different carvings and claw marks on the trees surrounding the areas. I don't know if you saw pictures of those at all.
Fair, no, I didn't.
Really interesting stuff that I think might have been done by the Mansi is what they are speculating here. That you never know. Symbols are a weird thing.
So I know there was in the days leading up to the incident, there were a number of weird lights in the sky that people had supposedly seen. Which is kind of interesting.
Anytime something weird happens, people always say that they saw lights.
Right, it's the same with the Madeleine McCann shit, isn't it? Stuff that you'd see in the middle of the night and usually just think, that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it's just something that was weird. You know, you wouldn't associate it with a crime.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, of course. I don't believe that aliens have ever come to Earth.
Do you think they're green-figured people, what they're described as? That fly fucking plane or like
all right,
UFOs
so
around?
say if you would you'd never seen a crab before, right?
Yeah.
You'd never seen a crab, and then they say found a crab on Europa. You'd be sat there thinking, fuck me, that's a weird looking little bastard, isn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
And if you didn't have the internet or anybody to tell you what it is,
Yeah, you'd be like, fuck me, that's terrifying.
like
The size of
imagine
it.
being from here and then going to Australia one day and seeing these spiders and kangaroos.
Yeah.
You'd be like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
What is this like,
So like
radiation?
I feel
mutation?
like a lot of life will probably evolve in very similar ways to what it's done on Earth.
Have you ever had any alien experiences or heard anything from anyone firsthand?
I don't think I have.
We should do an episode on aliens and ghosts separate from this.
Yeah, I probably think we can get into a heavy discussion.
I got
a good story, so I'll tell
maybe
that on
write
that
it
one.
down or something.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go too far away from this topic because there's a bunch of theories I'm reading here.
Yeah, keep going.
Svetlana Oss, in her book Don't Go There, believes that Khanty hunters who had taken agaric fly to get themselves in a killing mood killed Rustam Slobodin with a dynamic head kick and inflicted chest injuries by jumping or bouncing on the chests of Yuri, Liuda, and Semyon. Svetlana claims they wanted to avoid shooting so as the foil investigators, which is why they sanitized the tent area, covering their footprints with snow, making cuts themselves, thereafter forcing the hikers to discard clothing and footwear, which is why Dyatlov's jacket and flashlight were found outside the tent. Svetlana interprets frame number 17 from Thibaut Brignoli camera, so assuming some guy, as a hunter who was following the group and was surprised when they held quietly till the stalker briefly emerged, and this photo was taken before the figure retreated back into the woods. I don't know anything about this, but it sounds interesting.
Is there a photo?
Let me see if I can click this here. So there is a photo found on somebody's camera in the area. To me, this is a photo I remember seeing. To me, that looks like a fucking Yeti.
Jesus Christ.
And that's why my theory has always been it was a Yeti.
So how quickly would you be fucking booking it out of there if you saw that fucker creeping around a tree?
Or you see that shadow around your tent.
Oh, mate, I would literally shit in my hand and start throwing feces like a monkey.
So this photo, I'm not sure, you can look it up, but just look for the Dyatlov Pass figure photo, and I'm sure you can find the figure.
I did not know that bit of information. That's fucking creepy.
It was on, I'll just tell you the name, Thibaut, like Thibeaux, Brignoli, Brignole.
Save that and post it on our page too.
I'll put that on the Instagram for sure. It's an interesting picture, which my favorite theory is something like a Yeti or something scared them.
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of wonder because you see all the shit that lives at the bottom of the sea, and it's all
Russia, inhabitable Russia.
It's places that we've never had any business with, you know, and these things fucking evolve to unbelievable sizes. And you got to wonder about stuff like that, where it's just completely uninhabitable for humans, where the environment is so undisturbed that things can just grow in peace.
And let's say the first piece of meat that comes up the mountain in a long time, but you'd think it would be more visceral than... It would look like an actual animal attack rather than just a tongue missing.
It didn't look like anything. They weren't eaten at all.
See, the tongue in the eyes is the one detail that makes me think it had something to do with some sort of like mafia or military involvement, because that's like definitely a symbol for like somebody who's a snitch or seen and said something that they shouldn't have done, right?
Well, I mean, they could have all been spies.
Yeah.
Trying to cover up their tracks by saying that they were just hikers.
Right. Here's another thing. The possibility is that the group may have ingested the magic mushrooms either intentionally or unintentionally and suffered the delirium and sweating with acute doses. This would account for what appears to be the bizarre behavior of the group in that final night. And then there's a reenactment somewhere about it. So
this is like the original Blair Witch.
It kind of is, actually, yeah. In just like a snowy environment.
So there are images around the area that signify, I'm trying to think here, that the hikers are trying to keep a vertical position on the slope. But it's something about it looks like there's a possibility that there could have been an avalanche or a snow slab involved as well.
Like the avalanche may explain the trauma. Because I guess if you have like tightly packed snow and ice, you can easily start packing up some weight. But then their bodies would still be buried unless like they dug each other out. Yeah, I mean they probably wouldn't have been able to find the bodies if there was an avalanche, and they probably wouldn't have been able to find the tent either.
The ones that had the trauma, are they the ones that had their clothes taken off?
No.
Because like I could see, you dig your friend out,
Yeah.
And then they're dead, and I'm fucking freezing, so I'm going to take his clothes. I could see something like that.
True.
But yeah, it's weird. There's lots of
but I'm very interested about how and why they've reopened the case.
yeah.
You know?
You know what? It could be something as simple as for a documentary. But
It could be, yeah. But Russia doesn't really seem like the country to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, that camera picture is definitely
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
on someone's camera out there, and
Because I know cameras were relatively shit back then, but I mean, that's a weirdly dark figure.
yeah. There's something about a teleportation experiment that's rumored. Lightning strike, which I don't think that would have done it.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many different. There's like something stupid, gravity fluctuation. Like there's so many theories, but
It's just it's hard
something
because it was so long ago, right?
Yeah.
it's something I don't think will ever be answered. And the fact that they opened it up again is interesting and good, but I don't know. I don't think we're ever gonna get answers for this.
No, probably not.
But yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
Both
man,
you guys brought your
yeah.
fucking A game for this comeback episode.
You are welcome.
I'm gonna lighten up the mood a bit here for you guys. I came up with a game that I want to play with you guys here.
Do you want me to tell the action point thing first or after?
Yeah, we can do that if you want, or do you want to save it for the next episode?
Yeah, we could
or
probably, with the stories that you've got, we can do another cheeky.
All right. Just
because
so everyone
we're
knows.
about an hour and 10 minutes, so we'll save the action point for the next episode next week. But yeah, so the game that I came up with is there's two parts to it. I was trying to think of like the best way to do this, but my original idea made it a lot more difficult to find ways to trick you guys than I expected. So the first, we're going to do this through scoring. So I gave you guys notepads, and I'll just get you to keep track of your score. So the first 5 bands I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you 2 options of the band and their gimmicks. So that's either what they songwrite about, what they dress up as, what they do dress up as and songwrite about, just anything that's relatively like what the band vibe is about, I guess. So the first 5 will be that, and then after that, it's just going to be me listing off another 5 band names and tell you a little bit about the band, and you have to tell me whether it's a real band or a made-up band. And after you guys answer, I will show you a clip from the bands if they're real, and we'll just go from there, I guess.
Okay.
So,
All right. Sounds cool.
so the first band I have here is a band called The Upper Crust. So if you guys know the answer, you can like tell me your answer after, whatever. I just want you guys to maybe write down your answer first, just so there's no cheating here. So that
Wait, so are we guessing whether these bands are real or not?
yeah. So the first 5, I'm gonna give you 2 options, and you'll just write down which option you are, and then I'll reveal the truth, and then we'll go from there. So the first band is called The Upper Crust. Okay. So The Upper Crust is either a band that dresses up as slices of pizza and sing songs about their love of pizza, or they dress up as rich nobles that wear powdered wigs, and sing about looking down on the lower class.
Okay.
Okay, so those are your 2 options for The Upper Crust. So do you think it's a pizza band or a powdered wig band?
What genre?
So this band here, I'll show you guys a clip of the music. This one I purposely made this way because the song is called Let Them Eat Rock. So this is a little bit of The Upper Crust. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys once it starts playing here. So they kind of sound like AC/DC. I don't really want to show you guys too much of all of these bands until after you guys
All right,
pick.
I got my answer.
But for now, this is what we're going with. So this is The Upper Crust. Definite AC/DC vibe.
Don't let's hear any lyrics, because that.
Oh, you can barely hear it there, right?
Yeah, but I can see him fucking
Trying to listen.
really paying attention. No. You give us 5 seconds of the song. That's it.
Okay.
That's all we get.
So that's
You're gonna win anyway.
that's the upper crust. Okay, so I'll get you guys to let me know your answer on that, and then I'll read you a little bit about the upper crust.
I went with pizza band.
You wrote pizza band?
I got posh people.
Posh people. Okay, so the upper crust, not to be mistaken with Macaulay Culkin's band. I think they're called like Pizza Party or something like that. He has a band where he sings about pizza. The Upper Crust is an American hard rock band from Boston, Massachusetts. The members adopt the persona of 18th century aristocratic faps and sing songs from that perspective. They use titles of nobility, wear powdered wigs and period costumes, and maintain a snobbish attitude both during live performances and on their albums. Their music sounds like AC/DC from what I've been listening. They seem like a pretty funny, interesting group.
Their music smells like victory.
Yeah,
After I heard it, I knew it was gonna be the other one, but I'd already wrote
You'd already
pizza
written
band
it
down.
down. So the Upper Crust,
You sucker.
this band has appeared on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. They had music in the Guitar Hero video game, and also appeared in an episode of the Cartoon Network TV show Codename Kids Next Door, if you guys know that show.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, this band, Powdered Wigs, pretty fun little band.
Alright.
I was just looking up like weird bands the other day, and I thought this was a good idea because I fell down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
And I thought it'd be fun for us to like talk about these weird bands. This is a band I would probably go see. I don't know how you guys feel about gimmick bands.
Any
but
band that goes and dresses up, if I don't have to pay like more than $40 to see it, I'd probably go.
You saw Guar before, right? You and me went to Cancer
Yeah, but I
Bats and
didn't
Guar.
go for them.
Right, but they were there, right?
Yeah,
That was a
something.
fun show, though.
Yeah.
I've seen them, I think, 3 times now, twice. So yeah, that was the first band, the Upper Crust. So this next band, this one might be an easier one because this one I think is like pretty, like widely known if you're a fan of this subculture. But so the next band is called Mac Sabbath, and Mac Sabbath is they're either a McDonald's Black Sabbath cover band, or they wear masks of Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia and sing about Judaism. So Jewish Mac from Always Sunny, or they're a McDonald's Black Sabbath tribute band. So those are your 2 choices. What did you write? Mickey D's Nuts?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, so what are your guys' answers for Mac Sabbath?
McDonald's.
Both of you guys?
Yeah, I know this band.
Okay, so Mac Sabbath is a McDonald's tribute band. This song is their song. What's the song called? Parabuns. So yeah. Are you guys familiar with Mac Sabbath at all?
I don't think I've listened to them,
really.
but I know what they look like.
Yeah, so this is them, Patrick. It's the clown dresses up as like kind of a satanic looking Ronald McDonald's. They have Grimace, that giant purple chicken nugget guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's not really any vocals on any of these.
Yeah, they sound like garbage.
Black Sabbath.
So Mac Sabbath, there's actually a clip. Ozzy Osbourne had a TV show for a while, and there's a clip of him meeting Mac Sabbath for the first time, and it's a pretty good clip if you're interested in that band. One of the most legendary gimmick bands, I'd say, right now. But yeah, okay, so the next one, let's move on here, is a band called Wolfface. So Wolfface is either all-girl band with beards, or a band that's based on the 80s movie Teen Wolf. Those are your 2 options for Wolfface. Did you write it down, Kyle?
No.
You're still thinking? All right, Patrick, what's your answer here for Wolfface?
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf based. Kyle?
I got Wolf Woman.
Wolf Woman. All right, so Wolfface is a Teen Wolf themed band. They write songs loosely based from the perspective of Teen Wolf. I'll give you guys a little bit of a read here on this band because it's interesting enough. I got this right up from the dying scene. In the mid-'80s, Michael J. Wolf, like most teenagers, went through some serious changes. However, the changes Michael faced were unlike any other teenager's experience. Where other teenagers were dealing with pimples and getting erections in public, Michael was dealing with fangs, hair, and claws. These changes brought both fame and ridicule to Michael. With the help of his father and his close friends Boof and Styles, Michael overcame the many unexpected challenges associated with being a teenage werewolf. Are you familiar with the Teen Wolf movies, Patrick?
I think I maybe saw... It was a TV show as well, right?
I'm not sure. It might have been.
I think I remember seeing some of the TV show in England when I was younger. I used to eat my
think it was.
cornflakes and watch it on a Sunday morning.
So Teen Wolf
It wasn't Michael J. Fox though.
in the cartoon.
It wasn't a cartoon. Well, they did,
Or a
well, they
TV
might
show?
have, but they did do a TV show, and it was kind of like I would say, kind of like Riverdale, or Riverdale.
Yeah, it was.
It was like that.
Like a teen drama.
Yeah,
dog shit.
yeah.
Okay, so here's a little clip of Wolfface. They're kind of like a fun punk band. So all their songs are named after like basically rough quotes from Teen Wolf and stuff. So it's a pretty fun band. I found them last year. They were actually kind of the inspiration of this because I didn't think that was a band most people have heard of. I'm actually surprised Kyle picked the all-girl band with beards.
I just thought that'd be cool.
Fuck you, Kyle.
So this next band I picked here is one of my new favorite bands.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
They're called Here Come the Mummies. They're either a British rock band that dress like housewives, or they're a funk band that dress like mummies.
British band.
Well, way to say your answer out loud for Kyle to fucking pick.
No, it might not be right. It's 50-50,
All right, so what's your answer, Patrick? The British band
British band, yeah.
that dress like mummies?
Yeah.
Like mums? Like mothers?
Yeah, man.
And then Kyle?
I'll just go with the other one.
Yeah, so they are a band that dress like mummies. Check this shit out. And they're like actually like a pretty bangin' funk band. So I was right. Yeah, so I saw on what's it called? Like a morning show recently. Some morning show in the States had these guys on, and their gimmick is that they dress up like mummies and they don't talk. So they had an interview with the morning show where they were... Oh. There you go. They kind of sound like Hall & Oates style funk. But yeah, so they dress up like mummies. They did an interview for like a morning show. And Patrick's drawing a mummy right now.
Yeah.
Every time they would ask them questions on the morning show, there's like 7 or 8 of them, they would just grunt. They're like, ugh. It's like, so how long have you guys been a band for? Ugh. And they're like, okay, well, you guys play this show or this song for us, and they count in, and then they play like this unreal, like phenomenal funk song, but it's all about like every song is just about like banging chicks. So it's like a weird mix. And their gimmick essentially is that they all got cursed because they deflowered like a pharaoh's daughter. So now they have to live eternity like wanting to bang chicks, but like can't because they're mummies. So they just have to sing about it. It's a pretty, it's like a pretty interesting thing. But yeah, so the next one, what did I have here? Maybe I won't show any of the last ones, but this last one will be 2 options for you guys, and then after that you just have to guess whether it's a real or fake. This band is called Cowabunga Pizza Time. Is it either a surf rock band that sings about pizza, or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed band?
What does cowabunga mean? Because it just sounds like it's a really weird Australian word for cow shit.
I think it's like a surfing term, isn't
This
it?
is TMNT.
That's yours?
Yeah.
Patrick?
Oh, wait, what were the options?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or pizza themed. They're called Cowabunga Pizza Time.
I would probably go to Mutant Turtles.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
They're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed band. All of their songs are loosely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles based. Not to get confused with the actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles band from the early 90s. Do you guys know about that?
I think I have the record.
They're a band, Patrick, that dress up like Ninja Turtles. They're real Ninja Turtles
Oh, that's disgusting. Why would you do that
that
to people?
perform like a classic rock. Let's hear. Such an 80s vibe.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's like the actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles band. But yeah, so I tried something different with actually showing you guys some music here, because everything we did in the past was visual oriented. So what's your guys' score so far out of, I guess, 5?
I'm winning. I got 5 out of 5 so far.
I got 3.
No, you didn't. You guessed the mummies were the housewives.
Oh, I got 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 3.
Yeah.
3 and 4. Okay, you fucking cheater.
Fuck you and you.
Okay, so you
dad.
guys have to guess whether this band is just real or fake, and I'm not going to accompany any music. Okay, so the first band is going to be called Oakley Dokley.
Real.
Yeah, real. Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what you know about Oakley Dokley.
They just dress up like Ned Flanders, don't they?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they played in England,
like-
in
it's
the
like-
town where I live.
Really?
It's like a metal band, right? And they dress up like
Yeah.
Ned Flanders and sing about Ned Flanders
I'm-
religious shit.
I don't know.
They're pretty awesome, honestly.
That's weird, because I totally made this up. No, I didn't. It's a real band.
I was like, no.
Yeah, no, Oakley Dokley is a band that dresses up like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons and sing Ned Flanders lyrics. Yeah, definitely like a niche metal band, but they call themselves Nedcore, which is pretty funny. This next band is called Lumberjack Daniels. They're guys that dress up like lumberjacks but only perform when they're drunk.
I'd do that.
Real or fake?
What's it called?
Lumberjack Daniels.
Fake. You made that up.
I think that's made up too, but I would do that.
Yeah, I did make that up because I was like, that'd be fun to do. If I could dress up as a lumberjack and just play when you're wasted. Yeah, I thought that would be a fun gimmick to do. So maybe you'll see Lumberjack Daniels coming to a town near you in the next little while. So you guys are both 2 for 2 on that one. Kyle, this is the last stretch. There's 3 left, so this is your way to pull in the lead here with Patrick. This next band is called Danger Zone. They're a band that's based off of Top Gun, the movie. They just dress up like Top Gun outfits and wear sunglasses and shit.
I'm going to say fake.
Real.
Damn, Kyle pulling up to Patrick. You guys are tied. Top Gun themed band is fake. Danger Zone. That would be a sick band, though. Okay, so the next one is a band called Hollywood Vampires. I'll let you guys guess the gimmick here for this one.
What the fuck?
Fill in the
would we
blanks.
guess?
Oh, they are a bunch of fedora-wearing neckbeards that believe in being incredibly nice to women, but never quite get the girl.
You're not far off.
Safe.
Hollywood Vampires, horror rock band of a bunch of made up of a bunch of celebrities. That's all I'm gonna say. Real or fake?
What celebrities?
Let's say Johnny Depp.
Fake.
Okay. Kyle, real or fake?
Wait.
Let's say.
No. What are they called?
Hollywood Vampires.
No, they're real.
You're changing it?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Kyle, real or fake?
I don't know. I know Johnny Depp isn't a band, but I don't remember if that's the name of it.
So real or fake? You got to give an answer. You can't just fucking say I don't know. That's the point.
Just because I don't want to lose, I'm going to say real also.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, Hollywood Vampires is real. It is a horror rock band that's not very good, with Johnny Depp on guitar, Joe Perry of Aerosmith also on guitar, and fronted by Alice Cooper, which is such a strange mix.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. They started as like a weird ass cover band, and then I guess recently they started advertising that they're putting out like an all originals album. Yeah, it's weird seeing Johnny Depp play guitar solos and trying to act super cool.
Yeah, man, no doubt.
You'd think Johnny Depp wouldn't have to act cool, but seeing him do it on stage is just like a whole weird thing. Okay, so the last band, you guys are tied up, so this is for the win. So I'll let you guys decide whether you want to do this. I went all fucking out on this one. This band is called Rock Bitch.
Okay.
It's a female Brit metal band where they perform nude and perform pagan rituals on stage. Real or fake?
Real.
You said real?
Yeah.
You have to go opposite, obviously, if you want to win.
Well, yeah. I'll say fake. I honestly don't think that a band would be able to, you wouldn't be able to be a band and form nude all the time.
Right. Well, I will tell you, there was a band in the 60s called the Ladybirds, and it was an all-female band that performed topless, which was pretty successful, apparently. But Rock Bitch is also a band, a British metal band, that performs nude and perform pagan rituals. They also have this one thing that they did in every single show where they handed out golden condoms to people in the crowd. And the guys that got golden condoms basically got a free backstage pass to come behind the stage and partake in an orgy with the band.
Wow.
This is a real band. So I was doing research on this band, and I was like watching YouTube videos and shit, and all the comment section was like guys being like, who else got the golden condom? And that's like all the comments were. So yeah, that was the first edition of real or fake bands, gimmick bands, I guess. So Patrick took that one home.
Yeah, you fucking did.
I thought the music would translate a little bit better than it did, but
are you done doodling over there, fuck?
No, man, you shouldn't have given me a notebook.
I gave the boys notebooks, and Patrick's drawn mummies and pizza and turtles and
orgies.
But yeah, so that's
whoa, come on now.
That's all I got for this week on the Life Legends episode. We hit the hour 30 mark, which I think is pretty ideal with where we want to be. So with that, tune in next week when we cover Kyle's action point topic. Probably some other shit I'm assuming you have lined up. We're also going to bring back the ever so popular game by popular demands, real or fake. It's going to be a movie summary edition. So I came up with some movie summaries, so you have to tell me whether the movies
have you included some of mine?
Are real or
I text
fake.
all of them to you.
Yeah, that would be funny if you totally forgot them, but I think those are so spot on that anybody can figure those movies are real. So, thanks for tuning in and hearing us talk about these life legends. For now, fuck Judge Reinhold.
And fuck Lou Pearlman.
Yeah, man, what a silly cunt, honestly. Fuck me. I'd have stabbed him if he was doing that to my kids.